Hey guys, and welcome to my reading rush vlog. I haven't filmed the video in a little bit. I just ended up having to give myself a little bit of a break, and so that's what I did. Back in April, my dog Max got sick. He had canine degenerative myelopathy, which was pretty much described to us as ALS in dogs. That was really hard, and I spent a lot of my time trying to take care of him and just spending time with him. And he did have a little bit of a miraculous recovery. He started getting around better, eating sitting up again, and it was just really happy for about a month, and then it went back and declined, and it was awful. Unfortunately, he did end up passing away, and that was just a really hard time for me. Like I said, I was really close with him. He was like my best friend, and so I just wasn't feeling motivated to read. I wasn't feeling motivated to do really anything. And on top of that, I was studying for my test I've mentioned a few times that I need in order to work. And so I was just kind of a mess and stressed out. It's been a little bit since that happened. He did pass away this month, but it's been a few weeks. And so I think that I am slowly starting to do a little bit better, and my test is done, so that's really happy. So now I have some time to read, and if you notice the background's different, another reason I have more time to read is because I'm actually dog sitting. My boyfriend's dogs, his family is away right now, and he works pretty long hours, and so I am watching his dogs while I have really nothing to do. I actually haven't done the reading rush before, which I know is, I feel like everybody does the reading rush, but I have never. I'm a pretty slow reader, and so it was always pretty intimidating to me to try to read that many books in 1 week. But I don't know, ever since starting BookTube, I'm trying to branch out more and just try things, and so this might be a total bust, but I'm trying it, so we're gonna see what happens. I meant to film a TBR video, and just like I said, life got crazy. I didn't do that, so I'm gonna go ahead and read off my TBR right now. So the first prompt is to read a book with a cover that matches the color of your birthstone. This was really difficult, honestly, because I was born in April, and the birthstone for April is a diamond, and what color is a diamond? I don't like silver or white. I didn't know. And so I went on Twitter to try to see what other April birthdays were reading for it. And the Reading Rush Twitter actually tweeted somebody and said that you can pretty much read anything because there's different colored diamonds, and just basically they said pick whatever you want. I went ahead and picked Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I'll go ahead and put the cover right here. It's very sparkly and lots of color, and I don't know, it just seems really pretty, like a diamond. The next prompt is read a book that starts with the word the, and I'm super excited for this one. I went ahead and picked The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This has been on my TBR forever, and I don't know why it's taken me so long to finally get to. I think part of it is because I knew that there was Insta Love, because I think this takes place in a day, over 24 hours. Am I wrong? Half a day, apparently. I'm not usually a like, ooh, love at first sight, it's meant to be kind of person. And so books like that aren't usually what I'm drawn to, but I've heard a lot of great things about this one, and the cover is just so pretty. I love it. I want to put it on my red shelf so badly, and so yeah, I'm finally gonna get to this one, I hope. The next prompt is read a book that inspired a movie you've already seen, and this was another one that I struggled with because usually I read the book and watch the movie, or I just don't watch the movie. I'm not a huge movie buff or anything like that, and so I was trying to think of movies that I'd watched that I hadn't read the book that I'm actually interested in, because I'm sure there's some, I don't know, older books, there's just something that I'm just not really interested in reading. But then I have realized I have seen the movie Call Me By Your Name and I have not read the book. So that is what I picked for this one. I am really interested in reading it, and I did pick up the audiobook because Armie Hammer reads it and he plays Oliver in the movie. And so I thought I could listen to his beautiful voice while I read the book. I don't know. We'll see if it gets me to finally read it, because it would be interesting. I don't know. I did like the movie, but I also really love Timothée Chalamet. Next prompt is read the first book you touch. And for this one, I just went to my TBR shelf and I picked out some books that I was really interested in picking up soon. And I closed my eyes and mixed them up on my bed, and then I just touched one. And so I ended up picking, I'm so excited, Beach Read by Emily Henry. I have been hearing so much about this book, and not just from people who normally read romance, but from people who don't usually read romance. And I have really heard nothing but good reviews about this so far. A lot of people who I've been watching have said that they absolutely loved this, so I'm really excited to get to it. Next up is read an entire book outside of your home. I was planning to sit by the pool in the morning and just listen to an audiobook, soak in the sun, have a nice relaxing day. And then I looked at the forecast and it is supposed to storm every day. This one I might just have to sit by a window or something. I'm going to do one of the audiobooks, either Call Me By Your Name or Untamed. So I am doubling up on some prompts because your girl would not be able to read 7 books. Next up is read a book from a genre you want to read more of. And for this one, I was really hoping to, they're playing. Every time I read them, I love them and I talk about the endings, and I'm so obsessed with a book. I feel like those are the ones that I get like the book hangovers with. The ideal book that I was hoping to get the first book that I touched was Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I'm so pumped to get to that one. I'm so excited. I don't know if I will read 3 physical books, because they are books that I do want to read physically, and I don't know. If not, I'm going to pick Untamed by Glennon Doyle, because I don't read too much nonfiction unless it is a memoir by some famous person that I really enjoy. Finally, I forgot to mention this one, is read a book that takes place on a different continent than where you live. And for that one, I'm doubling up and doing Call Me By Your Name, because this takes place in Italy and I do not live in Europe. Mark bought me this huge coffee yesterday, so I've got coffee from Dunkin' to get me going, and I am about to get comfortable on the couch. Hopefully the dogs will want to cuddle up with me. I'm gonna start on a physical book in the hopes that I'll finish those 2 and I can listen to the audiobooks within that. I think I'm going to start with Beach Read, just because that's the one I'm most curious on how I'm gonna feel about it. So I'm gonna start Beach Read by Emily Henry first. I'll let you know how that goes.
"6:30 in the morning, as we lay in this bed, I see a peaceful silhouette and gently kiss your forehead."
So I thought I would hop on and do a quick little update as to where I am in the books that I started today. So I mentioned that I started Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I'm not far at all in this. I think I'm on chapter 3. Yeah, I've been reading it really slow. I just don't know why reading things physically right now has just been draining. So I put it aside and I started the audiobook for Call Me By Your Name, which has been good. I think it's helpful that I've seen the movie, and so it's pretty spot on, and so hopefully that'll kind of get me out of my slump, and then I'll be able to actually read the other new books that are on my TBR. So that is what I've done today. I didn't look how far I was in Call Me By Your Name, but I'm not super far. Instead of chapters, it's done in parts, and so part 1 I think was 123 minutes or something like that, and then you go on to part 2, and I think there's 4 parts total. I did take a nap with the dogs, so it hasn't been a total bust, but well, for reading it has, but overall day, nap with dogs is sometimes a win. I'm actually going home tonight because Mark texted me and said he was on his way home and he didn't have to work until later tomorrow. And so I didn't mention this earlier, but my family ended up adopting a new dog. He is a Great Pyrenees Beagle mix. That was their best guess because as a rescue, sometimes they don't always know. We named him Charlie. He is so cute. He was really timid and anxious when we first met him, but my family has sent me videos and he's definitely warmed up to everyone. So I'm hoping that when I come back home, he'll remember me because he had started warming up to me too. So I will show you guys him, and I'm excited just to spend more time with him because I do have to be back tomorrow, but I would love to see my dog. I will be bringing Beach Read home with me and then listening to Call Me By Your Name on the drive.
Your forehead. It's nothing that I could see coming. It's nothing that I could predict. Call it fate, call it destiny, but this moment is perfect. Oh, love I'd never known, so I call your heart home. No, this time has shown that I won't last if
Yes, so I'm in my car at my house. It's about 8 p.m. now. I actually got the day off from dog sitting, so I stayed at my house and got to play with my dog, which I'm sure you guys saw all of the cute clips of him. He is such a sweetie. I love him so much. And so I am headed back so I can watch Mark's dogs tomorrow. I am just mainly hopping on because I have not given an update today at all besides clips of my dog. I was basically reading and filming him. And so I didn't get super far in Beach Read, honestly. I'm not doing too hot, but I did listen to a little more of Call Me By Your Name, and that's what I'm going to listen to on my way to Mark's house. So fingers crossed that that goes as planned and I get some of that listened to. So yeah, I am going to stop blabbing and drive because it is really gloomy and rainy here. I would like to beat the next little surge of storms that are supposed to come through. So I will update you guys sometime. We'll see. Hey, so it is Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
It's crunch time because I have still not finished a book. I'm about 25% of the way through Beach Read, which is not very good, but I am just about 60% of the way through Call Me By Your Name. So today, I know I said I was going to do this earlier, but today is just a full-on read, do nothing else, finish your books day for me. Today, I'm really crossing my fingers that, well, I need to finish Call Me By Your Name. That's given. And Beach Read, I want to get close, if not finish it. Oh gosh. So yeah, I feel very frazzled. Call Me By Your Name, so far, I think I am mainly enjoying it, but I think it has a lot to do with seeing the movie first, because the movie, if you haven't seen it, is gorgeous. The aesthetic, the clothes, scenery, everything is so beautiful. And so I loved that So reading it, I'm kind of picturing how the movie was, but I kind of catch myself going in and out, like kind of losing focus on it, because it's not the most exciting book. Not a lot happens. It's just kind of Elio explaining his feelings for Oliver a lot in pretty graphic detail. I'd say right now I probably would give it like a 3-star, like my little over halfway review of it. I'm trying to just focus on the book, but like I said, it's kind of boring, unfortunately. So we'll see what I think once I finish it. And then Beach Read, I'm surprisingly loving, even though I'm not flying through it. I think I've just been really distracted with watching these dogs, watching my dog back home and everything. And so physically reading a book is kind of, I'm finding myself having to stop, do something, and then get back to it. So we'll see what happens with that. So I'm going to stop rambling on so I can finally get to reading, and hopefully next time I update you, I will be done with a book. So fingers crossed that that actually happens. Hello friends. So I'm updating. So does that mean that I finished Beach Read? No. Does it mean that I finished Call Me By Your Name? Also no. But I'm about halfway through Beach Read, and I'm really loving it so far. I keep thinking of other romance books that I've really loved, like The Hating Game and The Romance Book Club, and those are books that I loved, but I didn't give 5 stars, and they're books I constantly think about. So I'm like, well, maybe I was too harsh on them, but I feel like Beach Read is doing everything I wanted those books to do. Like with The Hating Game, I love the characters, I love the romance, but I wanted there to be some aspect of surprise almost. Like I felt that everything was so predictable, which usually in a romance it kind of is. So I'm not expecting like thriller type twists or anything, but there was just nothing where I was like, oh my gosh, that really added something, that's crazy. For example, in Beach Read, when January goes to the book club and there's someone there that is a little bit of surprise. Well, I guess there's 2 people there that are a surprise. I didn't expect either of those people to be there. And so it's just little things like that that kind of keep you guessing. It makes it fun. I don't know. I really loved that. And then with the Bromance Book Club, something that the reason I didn't give it 5 stars was because I hated the little inserts of the book that he was reading. I just thought it was so boring because I didn't know about those characters. And with Beach Read, you get little glimpses into what they're writing about or what January's typing on her computer, but it's not boring because it goes back to the story. It's not like an entire chapter of the book January's writing, at least not yet. So I'm really loving it, and so I'm about halfway through, so hopefully I can get close to finishing it tonight. I don't know if I'll finish it, but I am about to cook dinner. Mark will be home in, I don't know, about an hour, I think, from work. And so I am going to make some home chef, well, one home chef meal. So this is not sponsored, but you know, Home Chef, hit me up. I am not going to film myself doing that because 1, I am not a very good cook. I can follow a recipe, which is why I like these Home Chef meals, because it's all measured and the skill level really is not super high. So it's kind of perfect for someone like me. But I'm also using my phone to film, and I want to listen to Call Me By Your Name while I cook. So I will do that. I will show you the finished product though if it turns out decent. Show you I have some sort of skill. I can read, I can follow a recipe.
And I'd be a fool to let you go. 10:30 in the evening, as we look at the stars, I see a perfect silhouette. I can't believe this life is ours. It's everything I could have hoped for. It's everything I could have dreamed.
So, excuse my hair, I just took a shower. I feel just overwhelmed and in shock. So last night I stayed up until about 2 reading Call Me By Your Name and Beach Read. Whatever I'm reading right now, I can't even think. So I finished Call Me By Your Name. I'll give my thoughts on it in a minute. And I got pretty far in Beach Read, but I stayed up because it's the One Direction 10-year anniversary and I was a big Directioner back in the day. I woke up this morning and I have like 5 texts from my friends. They all say Taylor is releasing a new album at midnight. I was thinking that they were wrong because there's just no way. So I looked and I had notifications that Taylor Swift tweeted and she posted, and so I looked and lo and behold, we're getting 16 songs tonight. She's releasing a music video. Excuse me, I am so overwhelmed. Usually Taylor Swift releases for me are like a holiday. Anyway, so Call Me By Your Name. I finished it and I really don't know how to feel. I was looking on Goodreads last night and it has a lot of really high reviews, so I didn't know if I was kind of missing something. I thought it was just okay. I really think the reason I thought it was okay is because I do love the movie. I loved how accurate the movie was, the scenes and everything. Elio's talk with his dad, I mean, that was pretty much word for word. I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of the book. I think that it went into a lot of Elio's very explicit thoughts about Oliver. I felt like it was just very constant and it was just, like I said, very explicit. And so, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I would probably give it like a 2.5. And normally maybe I would probably even give it like a 2. Having watched the movie really did help because I loved the movie. Like I said, the music, everything. It was just a beautiful movie. And I don't want to give away spoilers, but I thought that the way that the movie ended was so beautiful. And so maybe I was just comparing it where the book had more and it just didn't have that emotional end for me. I'm over halfway in Beach Read and I'm loving Beach Read so far. It's so good. I was like, I'm gonna finish it today. There's no way, because I was getting really invested in everything. And then Taylor Swift just decided to come and freaking drop an album like it was nothing. So yeah, maybe I will finish it while I'm waiting. Maybe I won't get anything done today. We'll see.
Oh, love I'd never known. So I call your heart home. No, this time has shown that I won't last if I'm alone. And I'd be a fool.
Last night you saw I was up really late with the whole Taylor Swift thing. My friends and I did a Zoom where we counted down to the Cardigan music video, which was really fun. We did the same thing for Look What You Made Me Do back when we were all roommates in college, and so we thought it would be fun to do it with Folklore. After that, we all listened to snippets of her new album, and then we decided to all listen to it by ourselves. And then this morning we kind of talked about our favorites so far. I was up until about 2 listening to it, which to some people might sound pretty ridiculous, but like I said, I love her so much that going to bed and waiting until the morning was just not an option. I haven't done much reading today. I started Untamed by Glennon Doyle and I listened to a few chapters of that, which the chapters are super short, which I love. Oh, also, I realized that it's already Friday. I finished 1 book. I'm doing awful, and that there's just no way that I could possibly finish Beach Read, read The Sun Is Also a Star, and also read Home Before Dark all physically. I was looking at my Goodreads TBR trying to find a thriller that wasn't very long, because I do really want to read a thriller for that prompt of a genre that you want to read more of. And so I was looking and I found My Sister the Serial Killer. I cannot think of who the author is, but I'll go ahead and put the picture up here. It's pretty short. I want to say it's only 200 some pages, and the audiobook is only 4 hours. And so I was really pumped about that. And then I also realized that it could also work for the prompt reading a book outside of your house, because when I first heard about that prompt, I for some reason assumed it had to be literally outside. I'm technically not in my house right now. I am in my boyfriend's house. So I think I'm going to go home tonight because he has the weekend off. And usually I don't just leave whenever he's here. I do like spending time with him, but since he's going to be off, I think I am going to go see my new puppy again. So I do want to finish My Sister the Serial Killer before I actually go back inside my house. I would like to read it outside of my house. That is my goal today. And I want to read some more Untamed. I want to read some more Beach Read. I am really loving Beach Read, and I think that's why I'm having a hard time flying through it, which I know does not make sense to some people. But when I'm really enjoying a book, I love taking notes on it and jotting down quotes that I love and just taking the time with the characters. And that's how I feel with this book. Like, I really love the characters, I really love the story, and so it's really hard for me to just want to sit and fly through it. If that makes sense to anybody, let me know if you are like that, because I feel like the majority of people, if they're loving a book, fly through it, and me, I just take my sweet time with it, and it's not very good for readathons. Next time I update, I have to have finished a book. I'm sticking to it. Next time you see me, I will have finished a book. Happy Saturday, everyone. I actually did finish a book yesterday. I finished My Sister the Serial Killer yesterday, and I enjoyed it. It was definitely a weird book, and I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars because while I did enjoy it and it definitely kept me intrigued the whole time, I wish there would have been more character development and more plot development. Like, I feel like we were just kind of thrown into the story with these characters and told to figure it out, which the title is really self-explanatory. It's about a girl whose sister is a serial killer. It was kind of confusing at some points. I kind of felt a little lost and I would forget who people were, and there were some plot points that were just really brushed over and kind of confusing to follow, and so that is kind of why it wasn't a higher rating for me, but I did enjoy it. It was definitely a crazy book. I would recommend it. It was a fun read, but I do wish we got more with it. So that ended up fulfilling 2 prompts for me: reading outside of your house and reading a book of a genre that you would like to read more of. I am still reading Beach Read. I only have about 30 pages left, so I will definitely get this done today. I was going to get it done last night and I was honestly so tired. I completely crashed after reading about 2 pages. I am also still reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I listened to a little more of that today. I am having a little trouble getting into that one. The problem I think I have with self-help type books is that when they start to focus more on the author's story rather than trying to help the reader, I don't care. And that sounds kind of harsh. It's not that I don't care about the author. It's felt very chaotic so far. It jumps from talking about her daughter's love of polar bears and wanting to save them to asking her kids if they want a snack, and all the boys say yes and the girls have to look at each other to make a decision together rather than looking at themselves. Nothing was really said about it again. The chapter just ended and then it went on to something else, and now she's talking about how she met her wife at this convention. And so nothing so far in this book at all has been about the reader. And I mean, I might have misinterpreted the point of the book. I'm hoping if I get a little more into it, I'll start enjoying it more, but so far I'm not a big fan of it. And thing I have been loving is the new Taylor Swift album though. I have my Taylor posters behind me if you see them, but I am really loving that. I won't talk too much about it, but so far my favorite songs are Exile and Cardigan and The One. I think are my favorites so far, which is bound to change. I will update you guys when I am done with Beach Read and give my thoughts on Untamed. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Hey guys, sorry about this angle. I am propping this up on my headboard right now, so hopefully that is not too distracting. But I am hopping on much later to let you know that I finished Beach Read and I loved it. 5 stars. It was perfect. There are some books that I just love, but I wasn't able to give them 5 stars because it was just missing something, and this had all of the somethings that I felt I needed. I loved it. I loved the characters. I loved everyone just felt so real, and I loved that so much. It was so good. I also loved January's friend. I think her name was Shandy. That's how I kept saying it in my head, so if that's wrong, sorry. I just felt like she seemed like such a real best friend. A lot of times in contemporaries or romances, I feel like the friend is sometimes kind of annoying. She wasn't. She felt like a real friend. I just loved her. I loved the family aspect of everything. It was just amazing. I loved it. It is definitely a new favorite because it was so good. I loved it so much, and I also loved that they were writers that really just made my heart happy. Their banter was amazing. I could go on and on. I mentioned it's pretty late, but I am going to get started on The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon because it is Saturday night, which means tomorrow is the last day of the readathon, and I need to read this by tomorrow. I'm hoping that I'll get through it. If not, we're just taking it day by day. So tomorrow / tonight, I'm going to read as much of this as I can and Untamed, and we'll see where it goes. Also, sorry if this is creepy. I have my TBR shelf up here, and I just noticed that there's just like a girl's face with a dog just peering into our souls. It's the back of Save the Date by Morgan Matson, so well, sorry about that. Hi guys, so it is officially the end of the reading rush. I did not complete all of the books I wanted to read, and I didn't complete all of the prompts, but that is okay because I pushed myself to really read more books than I think I have read in a week, at least this year. Usually I average about 4 or 5, and this week I did read 3 books that fulfilled 5 prompts. Those books were Call Me By Your Name, which fulfilled the prompt, a book that inspired a movie you've already seen, and a book that takes place on another continent. The next one was Beach Read, which fulfilled the prompts of the first book that you touch. And then I also read My Sister the Serial Killer, which fulfilled the prompt, read a book from a genre you want to read more of, and then also read a book outside of your house. And so I was pretty happy that I was able to fulfill 5 prompts out of 7. Like I had mentioned before, this was one of the first readathons that I've really ever done, and it was my first reading rush ever. I did have fun with it. It definitely pushed me to read more books and books outside of my comfort zone. And so I am very thankful for for that. It was really fun. It did teach me that I would like to take part in more readathons, and so hopefully you will see more readathon vlogs from me, whether that includes the reading rush next year or not. So thank you so much for watching. If you got through this entire thing, sorry it got a little lengthy. I chat so much and I just can't stop. And so thank you so much for sitting and listening to me ramble. Let me know if you have read any of the books I mentioned, or if you took part in the reading rush. Let me know how many books you read, how many prompts you completed, and yeah, I'd love to know what you guys read for it. Like this video if you did, if you made it to the end, and if you would like to see more bookish content from me, you can go ahead and subscribe if you'd like. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!